Right, in this video I'm just going to show you how I've made some of my planters. These planters are bottomless planters, that's because they're being stood on hard standing. These are some that I made up yesterday. These are 2 meters long, 50 centimeters wide, and they're pretty much around about 50 centimeters deep as well. As I say, they are bottomless, so they're just going to have a screen of gravel going along the very bottom, and it's going to be filled in with topsoil and compost. Now these are all 2 meters long, and these are at the back of my garden. So I'm going to be making some more planters, and these are going to be going down the side of my garage here. It's all south facing, so there's going to be plenty of sun hitting this area during the spring, summer and autumn time. So I'm going to be making a variety of different size planters to run along here. Not as long as those ones. I'd say those are 2 meters long. The longest I'm going to have here is around 1.2, maybe 1.5 at the most, because this is going to be encroaching out onto my pathway. So I've just got some decking boards. These are all pretty easy to make and build. I've marked up some of the cutting points. These are going to be cut for the end pieces, then I'm going to be cutting longer slats for the actual main side channels. So I'm going to get the jigsaw and drill out, start cracking on, and I'll show you how I've started making these planters. So when you're making the planters, you do need to decide pretty much the dimensions you want the planters to be before you start making the cutting the wood down to size. Now these planters that I'm going to be putting here along the side of my garage, I'm going to have these slightly narrower than the longer ones up there. So these are going to be 40 centimeters wide. Now with the decking boards, they're 2.4 meters long, so that means you can get 6 cuts out of one board, and I'm generally going 3 boards high. So that means that I should get both the front and the back of the planter out of one strip. Then I'll cut a couple more strips to build up the side walls, and then cut the beams down for the internal supports, and that's it really. So I'm going to cut these sheets down. As I say, these are all already measured at 40 centimeter intervals. So I'm going to cut those down, and then I'll show you what it looks like when they're all cut. Right, so that's one 2.4 meter length cut down into 40 centimeter lengths. So that's going to be 3 for the front, 3 for the back. So now I just need to cut another one down into the desired lengths. I think the first one's going to be around about 1.2 meters long. So I'm going to have to cut one of these sheets in half, do that for 3 of the sheets, and then I'll have enough to start building up the planter. Right, so there's the main ingredients cut, so to speak. As I say, there's 6 planks of 1.2 in length, and then there's 6 40 centimeters in length for the front and end. So just need to now cut some battens down. These are now also going to be getting cut to around about 40 centimeters in length, and then this is what's going to be supporting all the planks for fastening all together. So now again, these need cutting down on the beams, again 40 centimeters or so, give or take, and then it'll be okay to start assembling. Right, so that's the chuck beams all cut down now as well. They're 35 centimeters in length, so that's pretty much goes from top to the bottom inside the planter, with a little bit of room just to spare. So that's everything now cut. So now it's just a case of getting a drill out, plenty of wood screws, and start assembling. Now I'm about to start assembling one of the front panels. So as I say, that's just going to be 3 of the 40 centimeter planks, and they're going to be attached to the actual supporting battens. Now to make sure that you're getting them actually nice and flush, the best thing to do is to try and line up the sawn edges on the wood, then have the chalk just sticking out slightly, and get a nice block and just tap them all in together. Now while you're tapping, it's a bit hard to do while I'm holding the camera, but if you push on the other side while you're tapping the block on, then you should be getting a nice even flush edge going all the way down in line with the actual chalk underneath. So I'm just going to put the camera down just to be sure that I've got this 100% square, and then that's going to all start to be screwed together. Right, so that's one of the front edges of the planter all made up now. I just need to repeat the same process again, get another one made exactly the same, and then that's going to be the front and the back of the planter all assembled. Right, so there's the second one made now as well. I didn't bother filming that because it's exactly the same process as the first one that you've just seen, but that's now the front and the back with the supporting chocks all on. So now it's just going to be a case of lining up the 1.2 metre sheets either side on a nice flat even surface, screwing them into the side battens, and then you're pretty much there. Now if you're running out of any flat space, one of the easiest ways I've found to do it is actually to make it on top of a longer plank, so the side support is standing and it's perfectly level on the plank as well, because everything's nice and square set on the plank itself. So that's just a quick, easy, makeshift way just to make sure you've got somewhere nice and level to be sure that you're actually screwing all of the planks into the side support nice and straight. So I'm going to start screwing these together and then I shall have a bottomless planter pretty much done. So as you can see, that's the bottom planks all secured now, so that's the basic shape of the planter taking shape. Now it's just a case of building up the other planks on top of each other, again secure them into the supporting battens, and then that's going to be a bottomless planter pretty much done. Well, the battery just cut out there just as I was doing the final assembly, but I've finished that first one, I cracked on and I've done a second one as well, so these are both 1.2 metres long. So for the sake of 4 decking boards, you can quite easily make a bottomless planter with about half an hour of your time and plenty of screws and a jigsaw. So that's all you need really. I'll do another video doing another planter with a base in as well, but because of where I'm putting these ones, I'm just going to be layering the bottom of this with gravel, then it's going to be built up with soil and compost on top as well. There's going to be a smaller one on the end there, and there's going to be another 1 or 2 dotted around the garden, and those will have bases in, so I'll cover that in a different video. But that is how I've made my bottomless planters for against the garage, and exactly the same process for the 2 metre long ones up at the further end of the garden. So I hope you found the video useful, and if you did, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be updating it frequently from now on as the fruit garden starts to progress. I'm going to be building up all of the planters as soon as the topsoil and the compost arrives, and then I'm going to be planting them all up with quite a variety of unusual fruits, some not really very well known in the UK, so I'm going to see how well they do. So subscribe to my channel and see how I progress. Thanks for watching. Cheers.